Good morning, children. Welcome to commerce class. See, in the last class, we discussed about, we concluded the class by discussing about the classification of companies. How the companies are being classified based on incorporation, based on membership, based on members' liability, based on the control, and based on nationality. And we just winded up with based on nationality as a domestic company, foreign companies, and multinational companies. Today we shall discuss about memorandum of association. See, memorandum of association, it is a legal document. Okay, it is prepared and for registration of the company. See, a company cannot be started without registration. It has to be registered according to the Companies Act of recent Act of 2013. And for a company to exist, there are certain legal documents which have to be prepared. In the form, it has to be submitted, and the registration process of the limited liability company, it should define what sort of relationship the shareholders have got, whether the shareholders have got limited liability or liability by guarantee or unlimited liability. It has to be specified, and it should also reveal what is the power and what are the activities that company has got permission to undertake, and all the activities which the company has proposed to undertake should be specified within the limits of the act. And apart from that, any act of the company, if it is outside the scope of the memorandum of association, it means that it is not binding by it. Okay, whatever is specified in the memorandum of association only should be followed by the company. If it is violating or doing anything which is beyond the scope of whatever is mentioned in the memorandum of association, then it is considered to be ultra virus. And apart from that, it is a constitution of companies. What is the relationship of the company with the outside world? It is a public document. Anyone can view the document or can view the memorandum of association, okay, to know about the companies. It is called the primary document of a company. So it is a document which is open for the public to understand or to have knowledge about what the company's objective is, what is the name of the company, where is it located. So whenever you Google and if you wanted to find about any company, okay, definitely these informations, the MOE of the company will be displayed in the website. This is information which is a legal document which is open for the public to understand what the company is about. Now, what are the contents of the memorandum of association? First is the name clause. See, the name clause, it requires that it should specify legally what is a recognized name of the company. Suppose if a similar company is already in existence with the same name, means you cannot register, or your memorandum should not specify the same name. There should be small variation in the spellings or in the font, at least regarding the name of the company. So the name of the company is to be allowed to be registered, and it should not bear any similarity with the already existing companies. So if already a company is existing in the same name, means definitely you have to give a different name to the company, or at least a different spelling, or change the font, or include any other non-alphabetic characters into your name. The next is situation clause. See, for example, a situation clause, it refers to the registered office of the company. The physical location where the registered office of the company is situated should be clearly specified in the legal document, because all the company registers regarding the company affairs, all those documents should be kept only in the registered office which is being specified in the memorandum of association. And this registered office should be decided, or it should be established before the commencement of the business activities. See, the business can have branches at different places or parts of the country, but the registered office should be one location, and that should be specified in the memorandum of association. You might have seen in many of the companies, the board will be there, and below in that board, in very lower font, it would be written registered office. It should be some somewhere, it might be registered somewhere in Mumbai and it can have its operation in Coimbatore also. It could be registered somewhere in Chennai and it can have operations all throughout the world also, all throughout the country also. So the situation clause requires to specify where the registered office of the company is located. The primary office of the company is located. Next is the objective clause. See, the objective clause, it requires to summarize what are the main objectives for which the company is being established. Why did you start this company? What is the main objective underlying the inception of this company? And it should, because you have raised the capital by way of floating the equity shares. So, what are the various financial resources, okay, through which the capital has been raised, and what is the main objective of the company, and what are the ancillary objectives of the company also should be cleared, specified very clearly, because any objective which is against the welfare of the public will not be accepted while registration. And apart from that, if they have declared anything that we have started the company for this particular motto, if the government, if the registrar feels that this is contravene or the declaration is against the law, contravene laws means it's something which is against the law, whatever is specified by the law, then they cannot register the company. So the objective should be very clearly, it should be free from any contravene laws. Okay, it should be free from anything which is against public good, will never be considered as an objective, and it will not be registered also. Next is liability. Liability clause. Liability clause clearly should state what is the extent of liability of the shareholders of the company. To what extent the shareholders are liable, okay, to pay, or if they have already paid, okay, what is their extent of liability during the time of winding up or dissolving. When the company is dissolving, okay, what is the liability of the shareholders? The liability can be limited liability. If the shareholders have paid their shares, full value of shares, that is the amount of their liability that they have to pay to the creditors. Or else, if the shareholders have paid only a part value of the share capital, then their liability will be to the extent of the remaining unpaid amount of share capital. Then whether the liability of the shareholders is a liability by guaranteeing. At the time of winding, company limited by guarantee is there, is it? And like that, what is the guaranteed amount that each shareholder should pay at the time of dissolving or at the time of winding up. Next is, if it is an unlimited liability, that also should be specified in the liability clause. Next is capital clause. This capital clause, it requires to state what is the authorized share capital of the company. Okay, by way of issuing equity shares to the general public, what is the total value of share capital raised by the company? And apart from that, what are the different kinds of share categories that has been issued? When you see, you might learn about the different kinds of shares, okay, in the probably next year. You'll be learning about what are the categories of share capital, what is a debenture, all that you'll be learning in the next forthcoming topics. And what is the nominal value of the share capital, and what is the minimum? See, for example, if I have to buy a few shares of the company, what is the minimum value of shares that I have to pay and take my possess my value of shares, my whatever is the number of shares that I have intended to buy. Next is association clause. Association clause, it confirms the shareholders are bound by the MOA and they are willingly associating to form the company. So it specifies that this the shareholders, it is a confirmation from the shareholders, okay, stating that I am willfully investing my money, okay, in this association in the formation of the company. Then it is required that minimum of 7 members should sign the MOA. Okay, if it is a public limited company, okay, the minimum is 7 members should be minimum for a public limited company and 2 for a private limited company. So minimum 7 members should sign the MOA. If it is going to be a private limited company, minimum 2 people for the MOA should be there for signing. And apart from that, there should be people for witness also who also should sign the MOA in the association clause. So with respect to MOA, there are what are the contents of MOA? First thing is name clause, Okay, the name of the company should not be similar to the name of the already existing company. Next is objective, next is situation clause. Where is the registered office of the company situated should be specified, and all the legal documents pertaining to the company should be kept in the registered office. Next is objective clause. It should tell what are the main objectives of the company and what are the ancillary objectives of the company. Anything which is against the law cannot be accepted by the registrar of companies. The next is the liability clause. It should clearly specify what is the liability which the shareholders of the company are liable to pay during the time of dissolution. Next is capital clause. This clause requires what is the company's obligation, authorize the share capital, how much share capital has been raised, what is the face value of the share, and what are the minimum values per share capital for a person to become the director, or what is the minimum share units of share that a director should hold. Next is association clause. Okay, it is bound to be signed, the MOA is bound to be signed by minimum number of 7 members in the case of public limited company and 2 people in the case of private limited company, and it has to be signed in the presence of witness. Next, let us learn about articles of association. See, the articles of association is also a document. See, this contains what is the purpose of the company, what are the duties and responsibilities of the members of the company, and it is also a very, very important document which has to be filed with the registrar of companies. In fact, articles of a company is nothing but the bylaws of the company. Okay, whether you can buy, if you wanted to become a director, these are the minimum number of shares a person should hold. What is your right to transfer? Once in how many years the meeting is held? What is the manner of transferring of shares? What is the way of declaration of the dividend? All will be specified in the Articles of Association. The Companies Act of 2013, under the table A, it prescribes this is the model of articles of association. Any company who wants to prepare their articles of association, you have a model which is being specified that this is the format and articles of association should be prepared. Suppose a private limited company doesn't have any articles. It has not prescribed its rules and regulations, means, okay, if the internal management of the company, they have not prescribed the rules and regulations, then they can follow the Companies Act, the Articles of Association which has been prescribed by the Companies Act under table A. Please underline this. If a company doesn't have articles of association of its own, if it has not framed the document, it can follow the rules and regulations which are being adopted in the Companies Act under table A. Now let us understand what are the contents of contents of articles of association. First thing is, an articles of association should contain the amount of shares, the capital, value, and the type of shares. Under shares, there are different types of shares. Okay, what are the different types of shares? What is the total value of capital invested? Out of the total capital invested, how much is obtained through shares, everything should be specified. Second point is, what is the right of each class of shareholders? Okay, and what regarding the votings, what regarding the dividend? Dividend is nothing but the returns that the shareholders get from the profit of the company year after year. If the company is getting profit, that profit will be divided proportionately according to the value of according to the number of the shares that an individual is holding, and that reward or returns, the returns that the shareholders get out of the profit earned by the company, you call that as dividend. Okay, and what is the returns of capital? When a person has what are the returns? Has invested capital in forms other than shares, what is the return that he is going to get? Next is the rules regarding the issuance of the shares and debentures. How are you going to issue your shares? Okay, initially first payment, second call, third call, you have like that to raise the shares. You'll be learning all these topics in depth in accountancy. And what are the procedures as well as regulations in respect to making calls on the shares. Okay, first call amount is this much, second call amount is this much. All those should be specified in the articles. Next is manner of transfer of shares. If you wanted to transfer your shares to a third party, what is the procedure for transferring your shares to another person? Next is declaration of dividend. Once in a year, the dividends will be declared. What is the way or the procedure you are going to adopt for declaring the dividend for the shareholders? Next is borrowing powers of the company. See, the company cannot run only with the share capital invested by the shareholders. Apart from that, it requires money also. How are you going to borrow money, and what is your power to borrow the money on behalf of the company? Then the rules regarding appointment of remuneration, removal of directors. So you need to appoint the directors of the company. You have to fix the remuneration, salary for the directors of the company. And when you wanted to remove a director, what is the procedure for all this should be specified. Next is procedure for conducting proxy quorum meeting. Next is year after year, okay, you have to conduct the annual general body meeting. When you are conducting the annual general body meeting, okay, whether the shareholders have to personally come, or can they appoint a proxy, or proxy means a person who can act on behalf of the shareholder, and what is the rights of the proxy should be specified. And quorum, to conduct a meeting, what is the minimum number of members required to conduct a meeting? See, if there are 100 shareholders, okay, the quorum can be minimum 25% can be quorum, which means if 25 people are available, the meeting could be conducted and the decisions could be taken on behalf of the company. And all these should be specified in the articles of association. Next is the procedure concerning keeping of books and audits. Then who are the auditors of the company, and what are they going to be? What is the procedure, the bookkeeping procedures? You might have learnt in accountancy is bookkeeping, double entry, double column, a single column, triple column, okay, all the different ways of maintenance of bookkeeping. What is the bookkeeping methods you are following, and who are the auditors, and what is the seal of the company? Okay, next is procedures regarding the winding up of the company. When the company is going to dissolve, how are you going to dissolve? Through court or through legally, or just like that? This is the way that we are going to dissolve the company. All that also should be specified in the articles of association. A very simple question, but quite an important answer, which is a 5-mark answer. It is very simple to learn, children. What are the contents of articles of association? A very simple question, easy to score also. Next is prospectus. Prospectus of a company. This word you might not have come across memorandum of association, articles of association. You might never have come across these words. But prospectus, I am sure all of you might have come across this word prospectus. When you have come for the admission to the school, they might have given you a prospectus. It is like a booklet which contains, it is also a document only. It is a booklet which contains, okay, the information inviting you to join the school. All the information regarding who is the correspondent, when the school has started, okay, what is the student teacher ratio, what is the uniform, what are the courses that are being offered, where is the school located, and what are the means of transportation facility that the school offers, what are the amenities that the school offers. All this you are able to understand from the document called as prospectus. So here too, with prospectus, you are able to look, it is like a window to understand what is the school about, what is the motto of the school, okay, why was it, when was it started, and apart from that, the achievements of the school. So it gives you a very clear picture to understand, okay, about the school, and to decide whether you have to get admitted in the school. Like that, a prospectus is also a document. It invites the public to buy the shares and debentures of the company. Okay, it is a it is a document. It is almost like an advertisement only. Okay, telling these are the these are the objectives of the company. These are available in the company. This is what the company is about. Okay, and you can invest your shares and debentures in the company. So it is like an invite. It is an advertisement inviting deposits from the public. Next is, what are the contents of the partnership, of the prospectus? Very simple for you to understand, because all of us, we have seen the prospectus of our school. So it is only a window. Window is something through which you look into, is it? So it is the only window through which a prospective investor can look into the soundness of the company's venture. How far the company is good, how far the company is sound and working efficiently. And if I am a prospective, if I have got the intention of investing money, this prospectus is almost like a window for me to look into the affairs of the business, and it is a tool for me to decide whether I can invest my money into the shares of the company or into the debentures of the company. Now, what are the contents of the prospectus? Prospectus, it contains the main objective of the company. Okay, it contains the name of the company, the address of the company, the address of the signatories, who all have, I told you, 7 people should have signed the memorandum of association, is it, in the case of public limited company, 2 in the case of private limited companies. The name, address of the signatories, whoever have signed the memorandum of association, and how many shares are held by them. Next is name and address of the occupation of directors and managing directors. See, only if I feel the directors and managing directors of the company are good and reputed people and people with good reputation in the society, I will decide to invest my money, because they are the people who are going to manage the business. So, the name, address, occupation of the directors and managing directors should be specified in the prospectus. And apart from that, the number and classes of shares and debentures that are being issued. There are different types of shares and different debentures. What are the number and what are the different classes? Next is, to become a director of the company, what is the qualification share that is being specified? This is also for promotion of the company only. See, there are people who will definitely invest their money only when certain reputed people or successful people are directors of that company. Okay, so for that should be specified in the prospect, because prospect is the only document which serves as a advertising tool for people to get convinced to invest in the shares of the company. Next is the number, description and documents of the shares and debentures should be for the past preceding 2 years, the last 2 years. What are the number, how many shares have been shares have been let out for public subscription, what are the types of shares, the description of the shares or debentures should be specified. Next is the name, address of the vendors with whom all the company have got contacts. Vendors, they can be debtors, creditors, with whom they buy the raw materials, with whom they have the selling contacts, who are their commission agents, who are their auditors, okay, with whom are they having the bank transactions, okay, all those, the name of the vendors, uh, of the and the properties that are being acquired by the company, and what is the amount paid towards the property and what are the amount to be paid against the property, all those should be specified. And the particulars about the directors, secretaries and treasurers and their remuneration. See, how many directors are there, who is the secretary, who is the treasurer, and what is the amount of remuneration that has been fixed for these people should be specified in the prospectus. The amount of minimum subscription, if you wanted to subscribe to the shares, minimum it should be specified. Okay, they cannot just buy 1 or 2 shares. What is, if you wanted to buy the shares, what is the minimum number of shares that you have to buy? Should be specified. If only then the investors can decide whether they can buy the shares of the company or how much they can buy of the shares of the companies. If the company is carrying on business, what is the length of the business, for how long they have been into this particular business, okay, or if is this business only for what is a parent company, or what is a subsidiary company, all those should be specified. And what is the estimated time of the preliminary amount of, see, to start the business, all of a sudden they cannot issue the prospectus or memorandum. Initially they might have spent certain amount of primary expenditures, preliminary expenditures to start the company. What is the amount of the preliminary expenses that are being spent by the company? Next is, who are the auditors of the company, who are the bankers, who are the solicitors of the company, their address should be specified. And the time and place where the copies of the balance sheet, profit and loss account of the company and the auditor's report, okay, you can inspect these documents, that they should specify at this particular place and this particular time it is open for the public to inspect the balance sheet and the profit and loss account of the company. Only then we will be able to understand for how many years they have been earning profit, what is their profit percentage, okay, are they obtaining sustained profits in the business. All those will be able to understand before investing our money into the company. Next is auditor's reports so submitted must deal with profit and loss account of the company for a year of 5 financial years immediately preceding. See, the audited report should not be for this present year. For the previous 5 years, the audited report should also be included in the prospectus. Next is if any profit or reserve has been capitalized. See, already if any profit is there, but they have not given as dividend, but instead they have converted that profit into some asset. Okay, into some asset, or they have reinvested the profit into the business. Okay, that also should be very clearly stated in the prospectus. So these are the 14 points which is specified in the prospectus of a company. This is also quite an important answer. Okay, perhaps an easy answer to learn also. With this, we are finishing this lesson, and the homework for you will be, just a second children, you have the question answers here. You have to choose the correct answer, and the answers for these choose is also given below. And in the last class you wrote Roman number 3 short answers. Now for today's homework, I want you to write Roman number 4 long answers, the first 3 answers. What are the contents of memorandum of association, contents of articles, and what is meant by prospectus. Don't just write what is prospectus. I want you to write 10 points. What are the contents of the prospectus? 3 5-mark answers I wanted you to write. So that is all for today's class. Have a good day. Thank you.